For RCR Wireless News, I'm Sean Kinney.
And I'm Catherine Speglia.
And we are here at Fira Gran Via in Barcelona. Obviously, Mobile World Congress 2020 is not going forward, but the news continues to come out and we're here to cover it. So what I've been getting a lot of this week, Catherine, is Open RAN type announcements. About 4 years ago, Facebook and a number of operators launched the Telecom Infra project here at Mobile World Congress, and it's been fascinating to see that ecosystem really develop over the past 4 years, from lab testing and conference working groups to real actual commercial deployments. Vodafone, for instance, is testing in some of their markets in Africa as well as in the UK and Ireland. And I expect to see a lot of traction around Open RAN this year. And in fact, we caught up with Airspan's Damiano Coletti to talk about that a little bit yesterday, so maybe we can take a look at that interview.
The fact of the matter is that while a lot of people have been talking about what's been going, the promise of Open RAN and what it can deliver, we've actually been busy executing on that. And we're on track this year to do tens of thousands of cells in millimeter wave, as well as thousands of 4G hotspots, which are already live today in central Tokyo.
Let's talk a little bit more about Open RAN broadly and then more specifically about Rakuten. 2020 seems poised to be a big year for development of the Open RAN ecosystem writ large. And I'm just kind of curious to get your perspective on how Airspan fits into that and help me contextualize the broader themes around shifting network economics and driving innovation by breaking away from vendor lock-in.
Sure, absolutely. So as Airspan, we are members of the O-RAN Alliance. We participate in the TIP Forum. We are 3GPP and Small Cell Forum compliant. So we support all of the functional splits that the market offers. The fact is that operators will be able to significantly save on their TCO by virtue of the fact that there's no vendor lock-in. And that means that they can take various elements from various parties. Now, as Airspan, what we offer is a complete software and hardware solution for the RAN, layer 2, layer 3, layer 1, as well as award-winning form factors in terms of outdoor and indoor solutions on the radio. And what we can do by offering one or if not all of those elements is we can disrupt the traditional dynamics that a lot of operators are beholden to with the larger vendors.
For the rest of that interview with Damiano, check it out on the RCR Wireless News YouTube channel. And a lot of RAN news this week, which you'd expect that's the biggest piece of carrier CapEx as it relates to their network deployment. I think you're tracking a news item out of CommScope, right?
Yeah, so CommScope has come out with their new wide-width 5G antennas that come in a variety of lengths and bands. And they're made specifically for sites where there are some zoning restrictions or other limitations. They also came out with a new power supply and some other new products that you can check out in more detail on RCR Wireless.
Yeah, power backhaul site acquisition, these are consummate problems with any mobile network deployment. When you consider the scale and density of 5G, it only gets compounded. And it's interesting, Intel had a news item out this morning. They have announced a 10 nanometer base station chip, and they expect by 2023 to have captured upwards of $20 billion in market share, which that's interesting for network infrastructure vendors like Ericsson and Nokia. It also has inroads into the Open RAN space, so a lot going on there. And there's a lot of edge news too. We've got all this up on our site, but Dell released a full suite of products. Dell, Intel, clear strategic partners, and edge is really where you might think of the latency benefits of 5G becoming monetizable from a carrier aspect. Without that compute distributed right close to where the data is generated, you don't really get to take advantage of the latency gain you get. So you got to have the edge and the core and the RAN.
So we've been talking a lot about 5G outdoor, but of course there's a lot going on in the indoor space as well. And actually Corning is in development for a 5G indoor network system with capability over millimeter wave. And they're doing this in partnership with Qualcomm, who is providing the 5G RAN platform. And it's also going to be leveraging Corning's virtualized RAN system. According to Corning, this is going to be ideal for large indoor spaces such as hotels, offices, or convention centers like the one behind us.
So yeah, a lot of activity around bringing 5G indoors and making the most of the high capacity use cases that you can enable with millimeter wave. But in terms of just handling all of this data traffic, I've been hearing a lot about Wi-Fi 6 in venues for these highly dense user environments. What's going on with Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E?
Yeah, so Wi-Fi 6E is relatively new to the scene, and it's really just the ability, it leverages the 6 gigahertz band for unlicensed Wi-Fi operation, and that should add a lot of new capacity for these devices. And Qualcomm actually just recently announced an over-the-air demonstration of Wi-Fi 6E.
Yeah, Qualcomm's really been putting out a lot of news ahead of the show, and I know that they've got some press briefings set up later today that we're going to catch 10 a.m. Pacific time, I believe. But you know, ahead of the show, the thing that really got me excited was the announcement of this X60 modem. So this builds on the X55 and brings in some new capabilities around aggregation of millimeter wave and sub-6 bands in both FDD and TDD. So that has a lot of implications for operators in the US, operators around the world, OEM device roadmaps and that sort of thing. So it's really exciting to see all of that. And we're going to do our best to keep you up with all of the news that is going to come out had Mobile World Congress gone forward. But we appreciate you joining us here in Barcelona.